pull the trigger because I didn't want to fall into the trap I did from the last one.
Right, buy a shitty one.
I bought
Just don't buy
some
RCA,
shitty
dude.
shit. Well, the laptop was. I thought there's Acer and Asus. Do not buy Asus.
Acer is pretty good.
Do not buy Asus.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
bought
yeah.
Asus.
You bought Aces?
Where did you buy it from, though? Because we can get
Asus.
into a whole like hour-long thing with this.
Kmart.
But we're not going to.
That's
Hey-o!
why. That's
For
why.
three crafty
That's why.
bastards.
Still,
It's,
I'm ready to throw it in the trap.
They don't care. They're
it's-
talking
it's-
tablets.
It's kind of like when you buy like Pumas from Marshalls versus buying them at a regular store. They market out a different kind of brand with the same name on it.
I have Pumas from the outlet store. This shit is bomb. I haven't even worn them yet.
Well, outlet store is a little. Well, outlet store is correct. If
Well,
you
they
do,
were
if
brand
you do,
new.
well, if you do brand new,
Like just hit the market brand new.
you know how they do at outlet malls. They do like, here's our regular stuff and here's some of our side stuff that didn't really make it too well.
It was the Puma store.
I understand that.
Okay.
But they do market some of their cheaper stuff there as well.
I know.
It's the same thing with Asus, going to Walmart, Target,
Asus
everything like that.
Asus
If you
is
buy,
shit. I'm never buying Asus again.
that's because you bought them from a retail store. If you
You're
buy
shut
them
up.
from elsewhere, it's different.
I'm done.
It's different.
DON.
I'm telling you, as the tech
No.
guru, I am telling you.
All
Acer's
right.
I don't trust. Asus I do, but you got to buy it high end.
Okay, so don't trust Acer. Don't trust Asus. For Three Crafty Bastards, of course, I'm B. Smith. If you're checking us out on YouTube, or if you go back and check us out on YouTube, we've done every segment in black and white. If you're checking us out on...
And neon.
And neon.
He's got a little more color over there. I like that.
If you're checking us out on Facebook, of course, we're live in color. And the reason that we're doing this in black and white right now is because, how do I say this? I'm just tired of it.
It's my prerogative.
Yeah, it kind of is, but I'm just tired of it, man. Like, let me just say, the last few days in the United States has not been the greatest, right?
That's an understatement.
It is an
Quite
understatement. And there's been a lot of senseless violence, which I'm not really a fan of. And whether you're political, whether you're not political, whether you deem it validated, or whether you don't, certainly the loss of life has to affect everybody because they're so random anymore. We have more mass shootings than we currently have days
in the year.
Right. So we've had more mass shootings this year than we've had days.
Mm-hmm.
And that's unfortunate, man, because that's somebody's kid, that's somebody's mom, that's somebody's dad, that's somebody's son, daughter, brother, sister, whatever. And people are giving their lives to save others. And the retaliation of senseless violence. It's easier for you to get an AK-47 than it is to get medication in this nation. And that's what's wrong. Whether you like it or not, and you can be mad at me all you want, number 45 kind of incites violence. The entire administration is predicated on that. And so what do we have now? We're coming up on an election year. We're killing each other, man. We're killing each other in the streets, and I'm not okay with it. And I can't imagine either one of these guys are okay with it either. And even on a more local level, I didn't necessarily have to check someone, but I let someone else check someone at my job because they thought that someone that is close to me was picking on them because they were African American. Little did he know we're related. And now he's like, oh man, well that I didn't know. No, it shouldn't come to that.
Story.
Yeah, it shouldn't come to that, man. Like, lighten the fuck up. Honestly, that's what I want to say. Lighten the fuck up. Why are we killing each other? Over what?
I don't want to
You're
talk about this
referring
for an
to
hour
mass
because I have an
shootings,
opinion
killing
on
in
this.
general.
Killing in general, but especially killing for that purpose. Back in the day, let's just say back in the day, people killed in the name of religion. And then people killed in the name of racism. People always kill
still do
in
that.
the name of being
still got-
different.
we still got some like white people out there. I
Aren't
don't know.
these-
There's
I
like
don't know. They have
four
a
of 'em.
popular
One
title. I don't
of
know
the
what they
recent
are,
mass shooters, I don't know if it was El Paso or the other location,
It was
it was
Paso.
Ohio.
was a white nationalist.
That was Ohio.
It was.
It was Ohio.
It was El Paso because he targeted Hispanics.
Ohio was too.
Well, they might be. They might all be. But the thing that the frustrating part is number 45 just now started to denounce.
Yeah, just
white
now.
Supremacists.
Yeah,
and white nationalists.
What year 4? In his administration, he's finally like, you know what, guys, that's not okay because it's an election year coming up.
And then he blames it on video
You know,
games.
I actually,
which is the stupidest fucking thing
I will
I've
be
ever heard.
honest, that was the first time that, like, usually my morning routine is waking up, making breakfast, turning on the news, getting ready for work while I'm listening to the news. And I actually was brushing my teeth, and they said that, man, that's a big move in Trump's career to say that racism is not okay. And I literally spat my toothpaste out on the mirror, and I just went, what the fuck did they just say?
Right.
They just say, well, I'm glad he said that racism's bad. And I'm like, what the fuck? Seriously?
Yeah, it's like they pat themselves on the fucking back.
I'm so
for it,
glad
you know?
it's 2019 and we're
So,
just now on this topic.
Here's what I want to say. Because it's not necessarily about number 45. It's not necessarily about being divided. Because you have to understand, as a nation, we let people divide us. We absolutely let people divide us. And that's not the PSA either. My PSA, and the reason that this is so short, is because I want to tell you in Facebook land, I want to tell you in YouTube land, to stop being shitty people. If you are a shitty person, stop it. Just stop it. There is no... The reason that we are doing black and white here is because to my right, I got a white guy.
I'm white?
It just so... You're pasty, but yeah.
What the fuck?
I just so happen
I
to
just
be
found
mixed.
out.
I just so happen to be mixed. And to my left, black guy. African American, whatever. Black Panther.
You're allowed to say
T'Challa.
that. You're
You know
allowed
what
to
I'm
say
saying? I'll make that joke. Because
Wakanda forever, man.
because we're all one and the same, man. It's like you can watch the spectrum go from one end to another. And are we having a good time? Yes. Do we miss this and getting together and being able to even talk off camera about shit that's going on? Yes.
Yeah.
Are we all good friends? Yes. Do we all enjoy each other's company outside of this venue? Yes. And if we can do it, then why can't other people do it? Why is it such a far-fucking-fetched idea that you have to single someone out for being different? The only person that needs to be singled out right now is Corey for opening that beer. That's a joke. He's entitled to drink whatever beer he likes. But seriously...
Don't say it's a privilege either, 'cause I swear to God.
It's sea salt privilege. And what is sea salt?
Hey.
But we can joke like that because we're not assholes. Stop being an asshole. Stop being a shitty person. Stop backing somebody that you know does not represent your moral values simply because it's a party. Stop it. Stop being shitty. You, stop being shitty. Stop being shitty people. Stop treating people shitty. Stop being shitty towards people.
Yeah.
Stop just being a shitty person in general. That's it. That's all you have to do. Wake up tomorrow and not be a shitty person.
I have another take on this.
Of course you
Well,
do.
I mean, I just don't want to talk for very long. I can see how, like, short I can cut this. My thought process is, I understand that there's a lot of this going on, where you do have people freaking out, and you're trying to pick out video games, you're trying to pick out Trump, you're trying to pick out what political analyst that's out there right now that we're looking upon. I think it's a mixture of the social kind of atmosphere that we're in, and the fact that healthcare is so fucking expensive to the point that I don't even have it because I'd be looking at like $300-400 a month for something that I can't afford, and
I barely use.
Yeah, but there are a lot of people that need this, and I swear to God, like, I mean, we've talked about like if you've watched us for a while, we went over mental disorders. I have a few of them. I have depression. I have anxiety issues. I have a lot of stuff. And I have gotten to the point where I get low for so freaking long that it almost brings to self-harm thoughts. Not saying it gets there, but I'm saying it gets close to those days. I don't have medical insurance because I cannot afford it. Imagine the people who are worse than me and don't seem normal, not having that kind of health care, and then they go into those systems, can't do anything about it. I'm just going to have to deal with this every day. And they're listening to things like Trump. They're listening to hate news. They're listening to this. They're listening to this to the point where it becomes an alternate reality. And they just go, fuck it, I'm going to shoot something up. It's a Trump fault. It's a political person fault. It's a YouTube. It's not a video game fault. Those things are out there for the normal people, but for the mentally ill people, a lot of us don't understand that as what you guys do. We understand it as, this is fact. This is how I need to interpret everything. We soak everything in, and then we're just going to shoot something up because this is what some guy told us. And I think that is more of, we need a better healthcare system to take care of a lot of these mentally ill, because it does. No, you can say that if you want to,
Off
but
screen, man.
Huh?
Don't do it.
I'm honestly saying though that if a lot of these people are very, very mentally ill, and they lean more toward the white supremacists, and that's a lot of the ones that come out, because that group is extremely violent. That group is extremely violent, but it's just words in that group, and a lot of these mentally ill people are taking that as fact, and they are becoming violent with it. So I think if we actually do something more health care driven to where it's affordable, I think we do a lot more help for this nation for it, rather than just blame it on finger pointing to Trump or finger pointing to video games.
It is his fault.
You can.
Let's just be real about that.
But you are
He
a normal.
incites it.
Oh, of course he does. So does every piece of media that's around us.
Okay, so
Every piece of advertising is a mental distraction. It is. It is. I mean, if you watch.
So how do you tune it out?
Wrap it up.
You can't.
You turn it off.
You can, but
if you recognize that you can't handle it, why can't you turn it off?
Because it's all around you. It is literally all around you. It's advertising everywhere. And for somebody who's a little less sane than you are, it's a lot harder to take in than you think.
I feel like the fact that you feel that you're less sane, or that you've had thoughts, or that you suffer from a mental illness, kind of placates like what we're saying. How do you know how I've ever felt? I don't tell you. I don't tell you.
I'm not saying that.
So to call somebody normal versus to call somebody mentally ill simply segregates them even more, which is what I'm telling you people need to stop doing.
I'm not saying I'm segregating you. You're looking at
that's what it is. That's what you just did. That's what you just did by saying normal people.
You just
took
for us, one sentence of what I said and you turned it into a big deal. What I'm saying is what I think we should do.
I took one sentence and I called it for what it was. You just segregated yourself from other people.
I'm not segregating myself from anybody. I'm saying we need a better.
So then, what do you mean by normal people?
I'm saying what the average thinking mind has. The people who don't have to take. Let's be honest. There are a lot more people that have to be on prescriptions for depression. There are a lot more people that have to have bipolar disorder medication that can't afford it.
You know me well enough. Do you think I'm an overthinker?
Oh, of course you're an overthinker.
Do you think you're an overthinker?
Yeah.
Do you think I'm mentally ill?
No.
Do you think you're mentally ill?
Yeah.
Why?
Because of some of the stuff that I've dealt with. But
that's for you to say that I haven't dealt with,
because that's
things that are just as traumatizing as you have, which then you put yourself in a box and you segregate yourself from normal people.
You are taking my perception of you to a different cause. My perception of you is a non-mentally ill person because that's the person that you portray to me. But what you portray in your own personal life is a completely different person than what I'm actually doing.
But your portrayal of
me of what everything that you've shown me
person would be the exact same.
Correct.
Simply on the opposite
Correct.
side.
I'm saying on a personal level, we need to have better healthcare for the people. Like in my thought process, where I may portray as that I'm a normal person, but I know that I have a lot of mental disorders.
I don't disregard the fact that there does need to be better healthcare. But I say that you cannot blame healthcare for people's decisions. You've been taught from a child what's right and what's wrong, and
That's
for
your opinion.
and whether it be, PTSD is a real thing. I will not denounce that one bit. Mental illness, that's a real thing. We've done an extensive amount of research on that. But to say that it's okay, which is what I'm getting,
I'm not
to
saying
say
it's
that it's been validated, because you can't not be a shitty person. These people can't not be a shitty person. So you're like,
They don't
well,
understand it.
how do they?
You're saying they don't know what they're doing.
So they don't know the difference between right and wrong.
Not a lot of people. It's the way that their thought process is. It's completely different.
So then, let me say this, as a normal person, which is what you said, and a mentally ill person, or a person that has dealt with a variety of mental illnesses, should I be afraid of you?
No, I'm saying
But
that.
why?
What I'm saying is the fact that I don't think that you should be afraid of me. I think I should have better health care to the fact that I get the medicines and the things that I need that actually not make me stay at home all day, that make me think the thoughts that I do. Because there are a lot of problems where I get to the point where I get suicidal and I stay at home, and that makes a violent side of me come out, and I don't like that. I'm saying if we had a better healthcare system to the point where some people like me that actually have to deal with this kind of shit on a daily fucking basis can get what we need, that it would actually help us out quite a bit. And I think that's not very validating at the fact that I have to deal with this shit every fucking day. And I was brought up to it today that I have to go through therapy, and I can't fucking afford it for a lot of the shit that I have to go through.
So,
And it's not fucking fair, because this is a healthcare problem. Because I know that there are people that are like me, that are worse than me, that have to deal with this shit and have the thought process in their head. I do get those thoughts where I go, I could shoot up everything here. And you get those in your head, and you know it's wrong. But I still get those, and I know people that have it 10,000 times worse than I do, that are walking around the streets that don't have health care because of the fact that I don't have health care, because they can't afford it, because I can't afford it, and I make a better living than they do. And they're walking around the streets with that thought process going on where they can't get the help that they need. And that's what I'm saying. I'm saying we need a better healthcare system so that these people who have those thought processes, that know that this is deep down inside them, that it sucks, but we have it. And we have those thoughts, that we get the help that we need so that we can actually live a normal, manageable life.
So do you think that the actions over the weekend should be absconded due to if they say that they have
No.
a
I'm
mental
saying to
health
prevent
illness?
to prevent this from future on, we need a better healthcare system, because
Or do we need better gun control?
we're letting us crazies loose
Yeah, but how
in
do
the
you-
world, and we can't do that by just going, well, we're going to take away guns. Well, we'll find something else that'll. I mean, the thoughts are still going there.
How do you target the people that are going to go do the mass shootings, though? You
I mean,
can't.
you can't. If we get a better, like, if you look over in Sweden, if you look over in Norway, if you look over in Canada, they have a better healthcare system. How many mass shootings have we had?
How many mass shootings have we had in Vietnam? How many have we had in Japan? How many in Germany?
Yeah, exactly.
They've had zero.
Yeah, and they have amazing healthcare
No,
systems.
But
They
they
don't.
they
No, I'm
also
saying
have amazing
over-
gun control systems,
They-
because they understand that owning a gun is not a right; it's a responsibility.
It's not the same everywhere.
So
So who
do-
pulls the trigger?
do people who are trying to purchase firearms, do they have to go through an extensive background check?
There's a
Somewhat.
bill on the
But there's
table
always
right
another
now
way to
that,
go
to
around
give them
it.
more extensive.
That McConnell has blocked
Yeah.
since it's been on the table.
They just need more extensive
They absolutely
background
do.
Oh
checks.
yeah, I'm not
So,
suggesting
As to
against that.
not,
You get
as to
better.
not discredit the fact that we do need better healthcare, we absolutely do, man. I could stand to pay less on my insurance for healthcare that I don't even use.
Yep.
I'm on, even though I got insurance, I'm still on a don't get sick policy. Don't get sick, don't do nothing stupid.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I feel like as adults, if our three salaries are comparable, you should have health care as well. If it's not offered through your employer, then maybe that's something that needs to be figured out outside of that venue. I mean, either that or you could quit your job and you can get it for free.
True.
Yeah, but that's having no income.
Medicaid.
Right.
But for us working people, it's really, really hard to get unless it comes through work.
Why doesn't it come through work? Why does your work not offer?
It's a local business and we can't afford it.
I got a friend who's looking for a job. She didn't take a job because they didn't offer insurance. They would put money toward you getting your own policy, but they would not have their own. They didn't have their own
So
policy.
it was still kind of like a copay system. If they would put money towards,
It was up in the air. It was a lot of uncertainty in the way that this person had basically pre-existing conditions,
right,
and so they're looking for insurance coverage to cover these pre-existing conditions so that they can continue the care that they need to get for their condition. And the employer that they're looking at, a bunch of young guys are the owners. They're invincible. They don't need insurance. They don't find the value in it, so they don't give that as an option to their employees. But they'll give you a certain dollar amount, which this person never found out what that dollar amount was. So to find out whether and how it's affordable. Right. But I understand the healthcare need, but it's still difficult to think that all 249 mass shooting people were all mentally ill.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe that.
I 100% agree. They're mentally ill when it comes to being in court.
I think there are some who have anger issues and maybe they've been fed the wrong information, but I don't think all of them are mentally ill. Which that's the when you look at
You gotta be
the
somewhat
white,
mentally ill to think you can shoot up a bunch of people.
no, you gotta
have
be
to be
angry. You gotta be
invincible.
angry and misinformed.
Did I share the video
Angry
of the
and
woman that
misinformed,
told the
but that is
cop
partial.
that she was not under arrest?
Yeah, I saw
Yeah,
that.
so
You saw that? Okay, you saw that.
mm-hmm.
This is America. No, I'm not under arrest. No, I'm not going to sign this $80 ticket for a tail light that I knew was busted, that I intend on fixing. No, I'm not going to. And then it's, oh, okay, well, I pulled over because I was going to sign the ticket. And then all of a sudden it's, why the fuck are you tasing me?
Yeah, but that also breaks down into her life and what she's gone through, to making her think that that's okay to react that way to a police officer.
But at what point does that become okay? What point in your life is
Oh,
the breaking point?
It's
you
not
get to
okay.
kick an officer.
It's
Yeah,
not
get away with
okay.
it.
It's not okay. But that is a
So-
mental thought that is actually going through her mind where she thinks that that's okay, and that's
She's
So
not.
not,
she
she's
thinks
not
she's
mentally
above
ill
it.
though.
Right?
She's not mentally ill though.
Correct. Well, how do you know?
She knew full well what she was doing.
She
Oh,
knows
of course,
exactly what she was doing.
mentally ill people know full well most of the time what they're doing. But it's all just like if someone like that, it depends on how they were raised compared to in their becoming adult life where something along the lines of that's okay, and that is part of like the messages they hear from Trump. It hears from the media that they've heard. Whether it be Republican, Democrat, that's exactly what they heard along the way of growing up. So that's what they think is the right thing to do because obviously she's protecting her rights. Which, if you look at it from an outside bubble, you're looking at it going, you're kicking a fucking cop. What the hell do you think's going to happen? But we didn't get raised the same way she did. We didn't go through the things that she did. We didn't hear the messages that she heard. So we don't know what the fuck's going through her head where she's going, this is the right thing to do. And I think that it all boils down to what these people are fucking thinking.
I'm still having a hard time wrapping my head around
Because
this.
not everybody has the same thought process that we do.
Well,
You can live in your own bubble of what you grew up as what your morals are correct and not correct. And I mean, it's
See,
going
I
to
feel
be
like
completely different.
I feel like I was raised different. I feel like
You
I was
are.
raised with the right morals.
You guys are saying the same thing differently.
Yeah.
Yes.
But my family, Republicans to the end.
Absolutely.
An absolute piece. I could take a crap in a box and they'd vote for him as long as he ran Republican. I swear to God.
I've heard that before. Yes.
I swear to God. And I remember having to correct my dad one time because he was like, man, I'm really excited to see what that Sarah Palin can do. And I was like, man, here, take this box of rocks and shake it up. That's going to do the same shit that Palin's going to do. You know? And they just don't know any better. And then my mom, last time we had lunch, she said, man, there was 20 Mexicans and they raped this little girl and it was down on the border. They showed pictures. And I said, Mom, whether that happened or not, is hearsay. I'm sure Fox News spun it different than CNN. But what about Detroit? Are we going to put a wall around Detroit because the shit happens there? You know what I'm saying? So it's everywhere. There's mental illness everywhere. It does not abscond someone from not being a shitty person.
No.
I know plenty of people that are certified mentally ill that are not shitty people. It can be done. You know, which leads me back to my original point. Don't be a shitty person.
Welcome back.
And don't be a shitty person over here either. But I feel like this might be a conversation that maybe we need to touch back on. Because emotions ran high for about 10 minutes.
They did. I think some of the dialogue needs to be sorted out off screen.
You
Some of
can.
it.
But it makes for
Just some direction. You know what I'm
It
saying?
makes for good TV.
It did.
So, the message of the evening. Stop killing people. Don't be a shitty person.
Simple.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Be a Superman in a world of Lex Luthor's. See what I did there? Type that off.
I still can't believe they let him into the Justice League. Fuck him.
My advice to everybody is usually to be your own hero.
Yeah. And I can agree with that.
Because who's going to save you better than you can?
True.
So be your own hero.
So, for
There
three
you go,
crafty
sir.
bastards, I'm B. Smith to my right,
The Nooch.
and to my left.
Mr. Classic.
Man, look for this shit on YouTube. Black and white on YouTube. Live in color. Share with your friends. Share with mama. Share with mama's friends. And we'll be back again soon.
I still feel like we need to have Pearl Jam playing in the background.
With your mama's friends.
Pearl Jam.
Does your mom's friends like
Don't bring
Pearl
up her
Jam?
college